Hi folks, and welcome into the Trucking YouTube channel. So I am here with a lineup of Nissan Frontiers. These are the 2026 models, but what is more exciting is we have the Frontier PRO-4X R by Roush, and we have a little off-road course back up there that Nissan set up. So you know we're going to compare them. So in this video, we'll take the regular Pro-4X out, then we'll take out the Pro-4X R, and we'll talk about, is it really worth it to spring for that Roush model? Well, make sure you stay tuned. So here we are, 2026 Nissan Frontier Pro-4X, and really the one big difference for this year in the regular Pro-4X is the addition of drive mode. So I do have the truck in rock mode, and like all of these brands do, those drive modes are going to adjust your shift points. They're also going to adjust your traction control system to make sure it's set up properly. And of course, here in our Pro-4X, we do have a rear locking differential, which is fully locked right now. Nissan did ask us to fully lock it. So yeah, you're gonna see that in action, because the one thing they've set up here are some big articulation events. And so we're gonna get a lot of big wheel lift out of this truck. Now, I definitely come back to the same kind of word, the same kind of feeling every time I'm in a Frontier, and that is sort of old school. You know, the Frontier, still a naturally aspirated V6. They haven't gone small turbo or hybrid or anything like that. So this is the one truck that, yeah, still feels like a bit of a throwback. And we can be honest too, when Nissan redesigned the Frontier, they did a lot, and it does feel like a new truck. However, the bones of this truck really didn't change that much. So I do think it's safe to say that underneath the frame, a lot of the suspension design, that stuff, you know, truly is 20, 25 years old. Okay, now I'm coming into this big articulation event. So I'm in 4 low. This guy's spotting me through. There's a real serious angle here. Nice. Tires are holding well. That's what you want out of your tires. So we're going to start walking up this second little hill now. Here's our big articulation moment. Climbing, climbing, and it's going to flop over right now. Oh, that is fun. And that's the beauty of the locked rear diff, right? Is normally if you didn't have a locked diff there, there's going to be some moments where you are sending power to the wrong tire, and that just doesn't happen when you lock up. So yeah, the locker gave me full confidence there. And then another thing I say in a lot of midsize trucks, but it's true here, even more so than other midsizers, this thing is small, man. The Frontier feels really compact out here. Feels like the right size to be taking off-road, you know, as compared to our full-size trucks these days, which we also take off-road. So I really do like the proportions. Sight lines are quite good. And the gearing in 4 low. You know, not uber aggressive, but plenty low to make sure you can really creep through these obstacles.
Yeah, this is our first collaboration outside of Ford, and it's our first collaboration with Nissan. We've done many collaborations with other OEs as far as different things, but recently we've seen a lot of OEMs coming to us for the engineering capabilities to help them looking at the idea of filling gaps in their lineups.
Right. So
with Nissan, the idea was, hey, how do we bring a lifted truck to market? We already have a very capable and credible performance off-road truck in the Nissan Pro-4X, but the idea was we really wanted to look at the idea of how do you then take that just the step up by being able to add a lift as far as a lifted suspension, but a more performance suspension as well. So that's where we look and say, hey, let's combine the Nissan's rugged DNA with Roush's performance excellence or excellence in performance engineering to come up with a vehicle that was not just a package. So this isn't just a upfit package or a lift package. This is really looking at a purpose-built vehicle that really is, the machine that combines all of that. So it elevates the Nissan, the Frontier's performance and its capabilities, but it also then allows and gives the Nissan dealerships a competitive advantage, or at least a competitive vehicle in a growing segment.
Right, and that's it. Off-road midsizers have just taken off the last 5 years especially, and they're all pushing into a next level. So obviously it felt like Nissan wanted to be playing in that space too, right?
It was exactly that. And so internally we looked for then a way to do it where, how do we do it that we can make it also as seamless as possible? So one, that it's very seamless for the dealers, making it very easy for them.
Right.
Because naturally it's something, it's for many dealers, they don't want to be doing the upfits themselves.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you have something that can come to them readily upfit, but also that it's easy. So what we did as far as in collaboration with Nissan is that we made it orderable for the dealer, so the dealer can actually the Nissan dealer can order it within their order management system. From there, when the truck is built, Roush Performance has actually set up a facility outside of the Canton, Mississippi assembly plant, down the street from where the Frontier is built. The Frontier gets built, it then is taken down the street, gets upfit, and then gets taken back and reinserted into the Nissan distribution logistics flow, so it arrives at the dealership with the other trucks.
Cool.
So it also then, another thing that it helps keep that cost down, because the goal is to make sure that we, one, make it easy for the dealer, but we also want to make sure for the customer that you're providing that quality product, but at a correct price.
Right.
And so that was, we looked at those kind of things. So one, no additional destination charge. So for many upfits that you're going to see, you're going to have the vehicle destination charge, and then naturally it's got to go somewhere, and then from there there's going to be another shipping charge to get it to the final dealership, customer, etc. So this helps avoid that. So from there's other aspects that we can talk about that we also looked at to say, how do you keep that, that to a reasonable step? And so even on this one, so the price step itself from the Pro-4X to the Nissan Pro-4X R by Roush is $4,450. And so for that, when you look at it, as we were talking about earlier, we looked at doing the entire package.
Right.
So we didn't want to just do an upfit, so we wanted to make sure that you have a distinctive look. Thus you have the dark titanium, as far as in the fronts. So as far as on the slots on the grill itself, and then going down to the skid plate. We see that then where we carried through as far as with the badging, you do see then the Roush R in the Pro-4X R. You'll see that through on the center caps on the side, and then on the rear tailgate, as well as then on the embroidered headrests, so that from each angle you actually see that it's a distinct vehicle, but also not being over the top with the size or the amount of the badging itself. So the first off was to give it its own unique look, but then naturally comes to saying, well, what do you get? What is the performance?
Where's the performance?
Yeah. And
so where is the performance?
Where is it? That's I'm leading myself there, leading the witness.
Exactly.
But so first off, let's just go ahead and start with the wheels and tires.
Sure.
And what I was saying, earlier too, is that in order to make this, they're 17-inch unique wheels that are exclusive to the Pro-4X R, with then more aggressive AT2, so Hankook AT Dynapro AT2 Extreme tires. So same size, but with more aggressive tread pattern from Hankook then versus the Pro-4X. We then do add also the black lug nuts, as well as then the R center cap. Going back to what I was saying earlier about trying to make it as affordable an option for the consumer as well, is that we worked on the design aspects from the beginning with Nissan and Roush together, but the wheels and tires are actually put on at the assembly plant, so that it comes to the Roush performance facility with the wheels and tires already on, that we don't have to take them off and then resell them, throw things away. They're trying to minimize that, which helps keep that cost down.
Right.
So that way then, of course, now you get, so with those tires, a little bit better traction and a little bit more attitude.
Right. Right. Cool.
But the heart of the vehicle, of this vehicle itself, is the suspension.
Right.
And so this then has the Roush Performance by Öhlins 2-inch lift level suspension, which then gives it a little bit more of an aggressive stance, a little more ground clearance, and then better damping control, over both your bumps and or for longer distance, because we have the coilover, so front coilovers, but then external reservoir shocks in the rear, with also then cooling fins, so helping with the heat diffusion on that. So as far as for the better controlled performance. And then of course these are by Öhlins, and so this is something where we looked at wanting to go with something that was a very special, a very unique brand, because Öhlins is not just a name, it's a legacy. If you really look at it and you say, okay, over 40 years of dominance in global motorsports, you've got championship teams from all disciplines, whether it's motocross, endurance racing, rally, that are using this brand, standing for precision, control, durability, and now having that race-inspired suspension in a mid-sized truck.
Right.
So that's really then, then from there, Roush does do the final tuning to make it as far as, so it's really specifically tuned for the Frontier Pro-4X R. But you then get with a truck that truly drives amazingly well, sits at a nice little bit high, increased seating posture, and takes your daily drive to that next level as far as when it comes, whether it's potholes and or railroad tracks, or taking yourself to that next level if you want to go out there and get out there on the trails, on the rocks, and actually exploring and using the truck for what it can actually do.
Cool. Cool, and I know you mentioned the lift kit. It's 2 inches in front, 1 inch in the rear?
That is correct.
Gotcha. So
yes.
then also better clearance, better angles too, right?
Yes.
Very nice. Well, yeah, Don, I'm excited to go out there and drive it, man. I appreciate it.
Excellent. No, I look forward to it. Let me know. We love it. It's on dealerships now, and more coming every day. So
I do have one more question for you. I
Please.
don't know if you know.
I will try.
Canadian availability.
It is currently not coming to Canada.
Okay, got it. Well, you knew. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. And I'm sad to hear that. All right, folks, and now it's time for the Pro-4X R. So just like the last truck, I'm in 4 low. Rear diff is locked. And we're going to see what we can do here. And it'll be interesting to feel the difference. I mean, you know, this truck is not going to make it through something the last truck didn't, at least on this course we're on today. But I should be able to feel the suspension differences. And I'll tell you from behind the wheel right away, I do feel the lift a little bit more. You know, I just feel like my nose is sitting up a little taller. I'm sitting up a little taller. And that does inspire confidence in an off-road vehicle. So definitely appreciating the lift. Now here's this little mogul up and over. Coming off of that. Okay, yeah. And yeah, coming off that little mogul there, sort of a little step down. Definitely a little softer, straight up. It just seemed to absorb that bump a little bit better. And that's certainly what you want. Going for this Roush package, you're going to be paying a little over $4,000 more than you would for a Pro-4X. So that's it. You want to feel like you're getting something for that money. Oh, I slid on this hill a little bit. Well, yeah, a little more slide. I found the limits, the side-to-side slide limits on these tires. But yeah, you want to feel like what you're getting is a step above a stock Pro-4X. So far, it feels like it. Okay, and now we're going to have one of these big articulation moments and a big kind of flop over. So let's see what that feels like. And if you are wondering about the beeping, it's the Nissan's parking sensors. Every time it thinks I'm a little too close to something, it beeps at me. Okay, yeah. Considerably softer, a much nicer landing. Where the Pro-4X was kind of a jarring, hard landing, this thing, as it comes down, very soft, very controlled, and I like that. Now here comes the biggest articulation moment, and arguably the biggest obstacle that Nissan has prepared for us here. I do wish we were out on a real trail, but Nissan put this together for us. So let's see what this feels like. And this is one of those obstacles that I'm sure won't look that crazy on camera, but I gotta tell you, from behind the wheel, when you're sitting at these extreme angles, it feels crazy. So now we're gonna start to climb, and truck is gonna flop over now. And yeah, straight up, that's a nicer landing. That is, it's absolutely noticeable that is a nicer landing than what we had on the other truck. Now, I can't get much speed here. That is the other area where you'd probably really feel this difference, is if you were to hit some obstacles with some real speed. But even just driving across a gravel lot, it does feel a little bit better as well. So yeah, I'm liking the upgrade. Definitely liking the upgrade. Very happy to see Nissan go and do this with the Frontier and try to push it into that next level of off-roaders. And that's, I guess, the million-dollar question here. Does it truly compete? I think it's close. I don't think we're quite to the level of a TRD Pro. I don't think we're quite to the level of a ZR2, especially a ZR2 Bison or Canyon AT4X. But it's getting there. And previously, with Pro-4X, it absolutely just was not there. And I even remember comparing Pro-4X with TRD Pro, and a lot of the commenters saying, well, those don't compete, you know, Pro-4X competes more with TRD off-road. And you were absolutely correct. However, I felt right because I was comparing top dog trucks. That was Nissan's top dog, that was Toyota's top dog. So it's not my fault that Nissan didn't take it up to that next level. And this is finally that truck. They have done it. I like the price point. I think that's going to make it attractive. And I think what comes across to me is it's not quite as a holistic package as the TRD Pro or ZR2 Bison, meaning it's not like Nissan did more protection, more skid plates. I know they did the drive modes, they didn't touch, the front differential, you only have the rear locker. So the other brands still tend to do a little bit more. And then, you get into the off-road cruise control settings, and you get into things like, the Ranger Raptor with its trail turn assist and some of those tricky off-road things. So yes, the other companies out there feel like they're doing more right now, but on a grand scale, you do have to consider that Nissan as a company is struggling right now. You just get the feeling that everything they're doing is on a budget, and this is included. I'm sure they have the engineers and the know-how to build an unbelievable off-roader, but in this case, it was like, you know what? Why don't we tap Roush? We're able to share some of the development costs then. Roush is going to put a lot of work into this too. And then when it shows up at the dealership, it's, the same as those other trucks from a customer standpoint. It's not like they're picking their truck up somewhere different or it has to get shipped somewhere different. There's no extra shipping costs. So doing it this way by going to Roush, I think was a clever way of achieving two things. The first one being a truck that really competes in the midsize off-road space, the top spec midsize off-road space, combined with a fairly affordable development program. And so from that perspective, I think Nissan nailed it here. This was definitely a good way of going about it. Now let's take a moment to compare pricing, and when you look at the segment, the Frontier is actually a pretty good bargain. Just the regular Pro 4X short wheelbase comes in at $41,870, undercutting trucks like the Chevy Colorado Trail Boss and the Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Road. But then if you look at the top trim trucks, yes, that new Frontier Pro 4X R sells for $47,960. Well, that is a lot less than the Colorado ZR2 and the ZR2 Bison, and a lot less than a Tacoma TRD Pro. So I already said it, it's not to the same level as those trucks, but still it's a pretty decent amount of performance when you consider the price. And one more quick note for my Canadian viewers, Nissan says that the Pro 4X R isn't coming to Canada, but in fact, right now in November of 2025, there are no Frontiers coming to Canada. And that's because the brand announced they have temporarily paused US production for the Nissan Pathfinder, Murano, and Frontier models for the Canadian market due to the costs of tariffs. Now, Nissan says this is a short-term and temporary measure, and they are hopeful that the ongoing discussions between the US and Canadian governments will lead to a successful agreement in the near future. But until then, those three models are simply not being built for Canada. So if you're Canadian and you want a Frontier, you better run out there now and get one while there still might be some 2025s on dealer lots, because the 2026s sound like they're going to be pretty delayed showing up. Although Nissan Canada did say that about 80% of their Canadian sales come from models built in either Japan and Mexico, and those models are still being shipped into the country. But Pathfinder, Murano, and Frontier, those three currently are not. All right, well, thanks for joining me, Brent. I think my main question is just, why this Pro 4X R and why now? Why did Nissan feel it was important to take the Frontier to a next level when it comes to off-roading?
Yeah, I mean, right now we're at SEMA, right? Or we're at the doorstep of SEMA.
Right.
And SEMA is all about pushing the limits. It's about enthusiasts. And it's about collaboration. When you come here, you meet a lot of people, you get to know the business. And so that's what this really originated from in our minds. It's a collaboration with Roush. We wanted to push beyond what Pro 4X is. We're very proud of Pro 4X. It's been around for a number of years, but we know people love to put bigger wheels and tires. They like to put lifts on. They want more capability, and so this is the perfect platform to start to stretch and push those boundaries of what Frontier can be.
Cool. So then, in a way, because I know you guys use SEMA as a bit of a test bed, but it goes both ways, right? Like you saw what other people were doing at SEMA, I'm sure, with your trucks and going, hey, I think we could do something like that, right?
Absolutely. And then when you have a partner like Roush, who has a brand, who can demonstrate real engineering performance. They actually can take the vehicle and do some crazy stuff with it. Right. And then they have the full confidence of their warranty and their business behind it. It's a great match for us, especially like you said, we want to stretch what Pro 4X is.
Right. Did you look at upgrading powertrain, and was it just wasn't worth the added cost in your mind, or where was the thought process with leaving the powertrain alone?
Yeah, I mean, we're always considering what's next, and power and performance is a big factor. But one of the things that we hear loud and clear from our customers is they love the naturally aspirated V6. This VQ is a great powertrain, incredibly dependable and reliable. Strong performance, good power. I mean, sure, we could put more power to it, but maybe not do so as reliably. And so our focus, both as a Japanese company as our heritage of Nissan, is about quality and durability and reliability.
Right.
And this powertrain does it. And it's got all the power to do, whether you want to go play in the sand, go play in the mud, whatever you want to do, it's got plenty of power for that.
Cool. That's it for me, Brent. Thanks, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, folks, we have arrived at the end of this video, and I want to hear from you guys. Do you think Nissan did enough with this Pro-4X R model? Personally, I think at this price point, yeah, it's a pretty good bargain and a solid off-road truck. But no, it's not to the level of some of the competitors out there. But what are your thoughts? I want to hear them. So drop in the comments. Let me know what you think of this Frontier Pro-4X R and everything you've seen in this video. As always, while you're down below leaving that comment, don't forget to hit like, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King and see what we're testing next. See ya.